Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get amazing results on LinkedIn while others just seem to struggle? Well, the secret lies in how they're using Sales Navigator. And today I'm sharing insider hacks and tips that will help you become a LinkedIn lead generation master. Now, the strategies I cover in this video are updated versions from our previous Sales Navigator guide, which was really well received. And these exact strategies are the same ones that helped Leah here close $12,000 worth of new business within 7 days. So in this video, I'm firstly going to show you how you can source leads using Sales Navigator. Then I'm going to show you how you can take those leads and turn them into paying clients with advanced tactics I haven't seen elsewhere, such as automations and also outreach scripts. And finally, I'm going to show you a really short quick win campaign so that you can get some paying clients within the next week using Sales Navigator. And just so you know who I am, my name is John. I'm the founder of Min-Max Media. It is my mission to create the most simple, effective and efficient client acquisition system possible, and to help you by either teaching you that exact system or helping you implement it yourself. If you want to know more about that, there's a link below. So if you haven't already used Sales Navigator, you can get access for free for the next 30 days. So you can follow along with everything I'm going to go over in this video. If that is the case, you just need to search Sales Navigator free trial and click on the first link up here. That will take you through to this page, and then you just need to press start your core free trial. Then you just sign in with your personal LinkedIn profile and you'll have access. Once you're on LinkedIn, if you want to navigate to Sales Navigator, you just press the Sales Navigator icon in the top right, and that will take you through to the dashboard. Now, I'll be honest, we don't use this that much. It's just an overview of what's going on in your network. The main value from Sales Navigator comes from the search functionality, which we can navigate to by pressing either lead filters or account filters at the top here. Now, lead filters relate to individuals. We can search on individual people, and accounts relates to companies. Now, the two are separate because they have slightly different functionality, and I'm going to cover all of that in a second. I'm also going to give you some ways that you can use the two in tandem, which are insanely powerful. But let's say that we want to find some individual leads. We want to make sure that at the bottom here, if see all filters hasn't been pressed, we press that because that gives us access to everything that we need. Now, let's say that I want to look for SaaS founders. I could type SaaS into the search bar at the top right here, and that will give me some results. But what we then want to do is we want to add filters on top of that. So let's say I want companies people who work at companies between 11 and 50. I need them to be based geographically, or their company headquarters at the very least, to be in North America. And I can start adding things on top. We also probably want to add in things about their job titles. Now, if I'm searching for an individual, let's say I want to search for a CEO, by all means, I could just type in here CEO and that'll give me some results. The problem is that on LinkedIn, the text field that you use to determine what your job title is a free text field. So as you can see here, title, I can change it to owner of the world. I already have done, that's my ego, right? I could do that. It's not correct, but I could put it in there because it's a free text field. But you'll notice when we go over to Sales Navigator, it's predetermined, right? So there's a disparity. So if you search just based on job titles, you might find that you miss out on a whole host of people. However, what we can do instead of that is we can search based on a mix of their job function and their seniority. And those two combined can give us a broader search, or at least give us more people, because it's not factoring in that disparity between the free text field and the things we can select over here. Now, once we've done that search and we've added in some filters, we've got a list of people who are fairly qualified, but we probably want to go through and just vet out some additional people to make sure we're not wasting time reaching out to people who are unqualified. So what I can do is I can click on someone's profile here, and it will give me a little bit more information at a glance as to what it is they do. And I can check that over and I say, right, yeah, they're qualified. And then I can press save, and I can save that person to a list. So I've got a list here. Let's create a new one though. Let's just type in SaaS CEOs, and I can press create and save here, and that will create a list of people. What we can do is we can even create tiered lists. So I've done my search here, but let's face it, some people are going to be highly qualified, and some, yeah, we could work with, but they're not like perfect. So I create different lists. So an A tier list, a B tier, a C tier, and we know that our efforts need to mainly be focused on the A tier, but then the C tier could be automated a little bit more. So we can create those lists so we can then reach out to them. And in a second, I'm going to show you exactly how you automate the reach out and all the scripts that you need to do. It's going to save you a whole host of time. So that's leads. But we also have access to accounts, which is the companies. But why would we want to search based on the company when we can search on the individual? Well, the reason is there are additional search functionality within the account section, which we don't have in the lead section. The main one that comes to my mind is the technologies used. So let's say that I'm a web developer and I can only work with companies who use WordPress. I can specify that within the account search feature over here, but I can't within the lead feature. So I can increase the quality of the prospects that I'm reaching out to just based on this here. I can also add in additional things like the growth rate of the company. Like I have to work with a company that's growing at least 5% a year, otherwise our solution just doesn't really work, or that's the sweet spot. Now, again, as I said before, there's something you can do where you use both of these two in tandem, and I am going to walk you through that, but it's a bit more advanced. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to walk you through how we can take our list that we've created of qualified prospects and how we can reach out to those people and start turning them into paying clients. So now that I've collated a little list of people who are qualified, I want to reach out to those people, but I want to make it as easy as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the lead section at the top here, which gives me a list of all the lists that I've created. And you can see we've done this several times because the recording didn't work twice. So I navigate to that list and then I press view in search. And that displays the list that I've created as a search over here. Now the reason we've done this is we can now use a piece of software called Dripify. Dripify is a piece of automation software. There's loads of these things all over the place. I'm sure there are ones that are just as good as Dripify. There might even be some that are better. There's definitely a lot that are worse. But out of all the ones we've used, I personally find this the easiest to use. So what I can do is I can create a new campaign in Dripify, and I'm going to show you this in a second, spoilers. Where are we? Boom. No. Here. I can take that search that I've done, I copy the URL at the top there, and then I press add leads, give it a name, so let's say SaaS CEOs. And I simply paste the search into Dripify. All right, and what that's going to do is it's going to be able to rip that directly from LinkedIn. So now we have a pot of people that we can reach out to, and we just need to create a sequence to reach out to. Now Dripify has some pre-built things, but I'm going to use one that I made earlier just because I found it's quite effective. So what we're going to do is we're first off going to send an invite to people. As I said before, we need to be a first degree connection with someone to be able to speak to them. So whilst we could send in mail credits and do that thing with the premium, if we're doing it more manually, we want to automate a whole host of this. So we send a connection request. Now, if they don't accept the connection request, we want to prompt them and remind them that we're there. So after 5 days, we'll just follow their profile. So just give us a little prompt. Then after another 5 days, we'll view their profile. Then after another 20 days, we'll like one of their posts. And then if they still haven't connected with us, we'll end the sequence, and we'll also specify that we'll withdraw the connection request. You can only send a limited amount of connection requests on LinkedIn. So what we want to do is anyone who's not going to connect with us, which is absolutely fine, we want to withdraw the request to open up bandwidth so we can send additional connection requests to other people. Now, let's say that they did accept. What we're going to do is we're going to wait 1 hour and then we're going to endorse some skills, just that we're interacting with them before we even message them. Then we're going to wait another hour and we're going to send them a message. Now, I'm going to send you the exact type of message that you're going to send to someone, but here's a bit of a principle behind how we should message. Most people get spammed with messages endlessly. They're in a situation whereby they've been pitched on everything, and as a result, they're kind of a bit fed up. Now, if your solution is entirely blue ocean, like it's brand new, no one else has done this before, and if you're pitching a bunch of people who haven't been relentlessly pitched for the last 5 years, you can go straight in and say, here's exactly what we do. Do you want to have a call about it? And they will probably respond positively because they're not fatigued by being pitched and they haven't heard what it is you're offering before. However, that's not the case for most people. For most people, you're pitching them with something they've already been pitched on probably 30 times this week. You're not that different to them, and your offer isn't that unique, I'll be honest. So as a result, we have to approach this from a completely different standpoint. All we're trying to do is start a conversation with someone in a natural human way. So what we do is the first message we send, we're just going to introduce ourselves. Here's an example of one of the campaigns we ran. Hey name, cheers for the connect, hope everything's going well at company. If you've got any questions about, and then you say what it is you do with a little bit of proof or sort of background. So demand generation, we've managed over 2 million LinkedIn ads, which is true. Fire over the questions, happy to help. So we're not pitching them anything, we're just saying hello, we have some expertise. If you think that's helpful for your situation, let us know. Then we're going to wait 3 days. Some people respond to that, and that's enough to even book in a call. But if they haven't, that's fine. We wait 3 days and then we use a lead magnet. So we're not going in immediately pushing a call, we're using a lead magnet. And a lead magnet should be something of insane value that resolves a very particular problem related to obviously what it is you do. Ideally, one of the first steps to the solution that you ultimately provide, but we want to resolve that problem in its entirety with our lead magnet, and it needs to be something they would actually genuinely pay for. So if your lead magnet is just like a white paper about something, it's very mundane, no one gives a crap, no one's going to want it. But if it's something of genuine value they would actually pay for, but you offer it to them for free, it will be well received. So what we do is we offer our lead magnet, which is a training around the top performing funnels, ads, everything from LinkedIn and Facebook ads. So it gives them the strategy, saves them literally years of having to figure it all out themselves. So we offer them that. Now, if someone responds to these messages, we don't go straight in for the kill and start asking for a call. We just ask qualifying questions. So if someone responds saying, yeah, I'm interested, we might respond to them and say, okay, cool, what have you been doing so far? Or what have you wanted to do? Like, have you been struggling with certain things? Then we ask if they actually want our help. So, okay, we've got the problem, that's fine. Are you looking for assistance with that? If they then say yes, then we pitch them the call and then we get them on the call. It's a far more human way, your response rates will be far higher, and the effectiveness of the whole thing will again be much greater. Now at the start I mentioned some really advanced tactics that are going to put you in the top 1%, and that's sort of the realm we're getting into now. These are things we've only been using very, very recently, and it's taken our existing processes and genuinely taken processes that took months and turned them into things that we can do in minutes. The savings is that extreme. So what we're going to do is, this is where we start using this account feature in relation to the lead feature at the same time. I'm going to do an account feature using the insanely effective filters we can use only available to accounts. Then, once I've got my list, I'm going to use a piece of software called Phantom Buster to enable me to rip company lists from Sales Navigator, which we can use in several ways I'll tell you in a minute. Now within Phantom Buster, I'm going to use a Phantom, which is an automation called Sales Navigator Search Export. And I'm going to take the URL at the very top of the page of the search I've done in relation to those accounts. And I'm going to post that just in here into Phantom Buster. I'm going to press save. I'm going to connect to LinkedIn. I'm going to press save. And then I'm going to set this to about 2000. And again, I'm going to press save. And we only need to run this once, right? But what I can do is this will run through that Sales Navigator list, and then it will export all of the information. So it'll export all the company names and it'll export all the LinkedIn company URLs. That in itself, I'll be honest, is quite powerful, but we can then use that in several different ways. So this is an example of a ripped list of a load of companies that we have in here. Now what I can do is use this list to increase the effectiveness of other features on LinkedIn. So this is a test ad account we have within LinkedIn ads, and I can navigate to audiences underneath plan on the right hand side here. I can press create audience, matched audience, company list here next, and then I can basically upload that company list into LinkedIn ads. And by doing that, I can make sure that everyone we run ads to is highly qualified. There is no ability within the LinkedIn Ads Manager for me to specify companies based on the technologies used. So I can take that list, upload it to the Ads Manager, and make sure that those very highly qualified companies see my ads. You can also see where this starts to tie in. If I'm reaching out to people manually using Dripify as an example, and I'm also running ads to those exact same people using the Ads Manager, then by the time I've reached out to them, they are no longer a cold lead. They are warmed up to us. They've already seen us. They should already understand our value proposition if our advertising is good, and therefore the effectiveness of our outreach increases and the effectiveness of our ads increases. Everything works together and rises together. So that's one way that we can use Phantom Buster with Sales Navigator to increase the effectiveness of other features on LinkedIn. But there's even more we can do with that list that we have ripped. So I've got that list, but let's say I now want to reach out to, on Sales Navigator, the CEOs of people who work at these companies, and I also want to reach out to the CMOs of people at these companies. Now, I can't do that just based on the lead search. because it doesn't allow me to. And unfortunately, we can't use Dripify in relation to a list of accounts. We need a list of individuals. So how do I get around that? Well, it took us a long time to figure this out, but I finally did, and I'm about to reveal it to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up a phantom called LinkedIn Company Employees Export. Then what I'm going to do is select a URL. I'm going to make the URL, or the Google Sheet I have here, public. I'm going to copy the URL up here, and I'm going to paste it into Phantom Buster. Then I'm going to press save, connect to LinkedIn as we did before, save. Then when it gets to this stage, I'm going to press advanced settings. Now what this is going to do is it's going to look through the list of companies and it's going to draw out job titles I specified. So let's say CEO or founder, or co-founder, etc. Now what we used to do is we used to do this manually. So we'd have our search and we'd click on it and we'd go into the company details here, really complicated, find the right people, add them to a separate list, and it took us a whole host of time. But with this Phantom, what it will do is it will go through that list and it will rip out all the people you need to speak to at that company and put it into its own separate list. That list can then itself be uploaded into the LinkedIn Ads Manager in as a contact list instead of a company list. We could also use that with Dripify, so it becomes insanely effective. Also saves us a load of time, but we can use this 2 times. So let's say I have a list of those companies, but I want to reach out to CEOs and founders, and then I also want to reach out to the CMOs. The messaging would be different. So I can set up 2 phantoms, one to rip all the company founders and one to rip all the CMOs, and then I just have 2 lists allowing me to reach out to those people. So those are some really advanced techniques as to how you can get the most out of Sales Navigator. But at the start of this video, I promised you a really quick and effective campaign that was going to get you a new client from LinkedIn Sales Navigator within the next week, and that is exactly what I'm about to run you through. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the lead filters section within Sales Navigator, and then I'm going to go to connections and search on first degree connections. These are people who are already in our network. They should be relatively warmed up to us already, and the added advantage of them being in our network is we have no restriction over sending them messages because they're already connections. I want you to notice that we can only send a maximum of about 150 messages if you have a LinkedIn premium account, which is what you have, but still that's way better than what we had had, but we have to send a connection request. So we're going to search based on first degree connections. Then we're going to add in some additional filters based on who our exact target audience is or who we want to reach out to for this really quick campaign. So let's say I want them, again, for the sake of ease, I want them to be CEOs, and I need their company size to be between 11 and 50. Okay. Now what we do is we have a list of people in our network, and as you can see, it's not a huge amount of people. So what we're going to do is we're going to manually go through this list, and we're going to save them to a separate list. So I'm going to create a list, and I'm going to call it Reactivator, right? And then, I don't know, July. Create and save. So we're creating a new list. So the reason I'm doing this is, yeah, we have a list of people in our network and they're qualified, but we need to vet them. They're people in our network. We don't want to be sending what I'm about to walk through with you to anyone who is already working with us, or to someone who just incongruently the offer wouldn't make sense. We're already in discussions with them about something else. So we go through and we vet the list. And as a result of us doing that, we should end up with a lead list over here of qualified people within our network. We're then going to do the same thing we did before, view in search. We're then going to go to Dripify over here. We're going to do exactly the same thing we did before. Copy the URL, paste the URL in here, name it, move through, and then we're going to build out a sequence. Now, the premise of this campaign here is, it's really straightforward. It's 3 messages and it's a limited time offer. So the offer lasts for 7 days, trying to count, 7 days, and it's only available to a set amount of people. And what we're doing is we're promoting that to people in our audience. The way you promote this by the way is sometimes called a 5 guys campaign. It's been around for years, but you'll send DMs to people in your audience. You can also post this on LinkedIn at the same time. So you can post things in your feed saying, I'm looking for these people, and then you can DM them. So you can do the 2 in tandem, or you can just send the DMs. But for the DMs, we're going to send something like, hey name, we can have an icebreaker. So you can work through this manually without using Dripify. Dripify just makes it easier and more automated. But if you have a small amount of people, it's better to do it manually because you can add in icebreakers. It makes it more personal. But what we're going to do is, if we've just posted in our feed, we'll say, I've just posted this. I want to give you first dibs. Then we start explaining the offer. So between now and you say the end date, and it should be a week away. So it starts on the Monday, it ends on the following Monday. I'm looking for a specific number. So for example, 5 CEOs of companies between 11 and 50, or CEOs of companies looking to get a new website with WordPress to help speed up their website performance within the next 7 days. Would that possibly help you out? So we're just saying what it is we're looking for. It's a bit vague as to what it is we're offering. We're just saying, here's what we're looking for, who we're looking for, here's what we're trying to do for them. If they respond to that, fantastic. We do the same thing we did previously, qualifying questions. If they don't, we send them another message with a case study. So in reference to my last message, we recently helped client achieve outcome in time period, which resulted in them and then some sort of second degree benefit of the thing that we helped them achieve, i.e. they managed to save loads of time. Would a similar result be useful for you? If they respond to that, fantastic. If not, the last message goes on the last day and it's just a reminder. Final reminder, this is the last day. We're basically using fear of missing out, scarcity and urgency in this campaign to force people to take some action. We just, again, remind them of the offer. We're looking for this to get this result. Would you want information? This is a limited time thing. Now, if you're using Sales Navigator in the ways I've just walked through, you're already ahead of 99% of people on the platform, but you're still only using about 1/3 of the full potential of LinkedIn. So as I mentioned in this video, you can use LinkedIn ads in conjunction with Sales Navigator to massively boost your performance. But if you don't know how to use LinkedIn ads properly, you might find that you waste a load of time and a lot of money trying to iron out all the kinks. Thankfully for you, I've put together this video called The Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn Ads, which covers everything you need and will ensure that you can get a predictable and reliable stream of customers into your business.